It's the thing that you've been holding on to that is like a poison or a cancer that's eating away at you, that's pulling you farther and farther away from life and light, right? And that's the reason why it may seem sometimes one is existing in the darkness or is consistently fighting opposition. It's not because you're being punished. It's not because your life is just supposed to suck. All of those have been signs telling you that. Hello, beautiful human. Welcome to, I don't know what to call this because it's not a thing, but it's sort of kind of a thing, but it's a thing that I'm making it. We'll just call this a collective reading because, these are the soul sessions. So this is like a collective soul session because I know 9 times out of 10, especially because it's my favorite month, which is December. And I like to call December Surrender December because you surrender in December, because the new year and all that good stuff. But anywho, I decided to do a collective reading because I know 9 times out of 10, just with the energy this month, that the Sag reading is probably going to end up being a collective reading anyway, but because we're all under Sag energy and whatnot. So I just figured I would go ahead and pull cards for the collective, and then I'm gonna pick a card for each sign from my Surrender deck, my favorite Oracle deck in America. Just to give you guys some insight into things that you will be releasing this month. And I say that because, of course, whatever sun sign it is that we're in, regardless of what your sun sign is. Happy birthday, Sagittarius, by the way. But the influences of their sign start to influence us during that particular time. So with this being Sagittarius, I like to look at Sag energy as going backwards in order to go forwards, much like it is when you shoot an arrow. You know what I'm saying? And it's a perfect time to do that because we are in the last month of the year and we're going into 2021. And shameless plug, the WokeBook 2021 is coming out and you guys can pre-order it. I think I'm either going to have the link in the description box below, or it's going to be on the website. And the book's a lot of different this time. I think it's better than it was, as if the woke book could be any better. Okay, that's me. Ego. Don't judge me. Anyway, but it's pretty much, it's better. I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm going to do a whole video about that. But I think this is a really great time for everyone to really kind of look back at everything, especially with us being like on the skirts of the full moon in Gemini, which was on the 30th of November. And that was with a eclipse, a lunar eclipse. So I like to look at that as well as a sign that something became very clear to you. And we can say it was eclipsed out of your life, but I would say more or less it's more choice oriented. So I feel it's something, kind of close to home that became clear to you guys. And it's really a choice that's being made specifically within the realm of leading up into December. We could even literally go back to September, whatever it is you guys have been pondering on and just kind of deciding what needs to be done or what you need to do for your life to be different, or for things in your life to look different, or to get to where it is that you're desiring to go. On the 30th or somewhere around that time within that week, that would have become very clear to you all of what it is that needs to be left behind, or what it is that you need to choose to leave behind, or you guys receiving insight into where it is that you're trying to go. And when we come into the month of December, piggybacking off of Sagittarius's energy, we're more or less looking at this time last year, which would be the most relevant. So going back to this time last year, where you were at, the things that you aspired to change in your life, or the things that you wanted to see different, or the things you wanted to be different, and really kind of going back like we did in the woke book and literally looking at your timeline of how much you got accomplished and how much you didn't, how many of your goals you achieved, how many of them you didn't, and just kind of doing a little bit of a self-analysis to get clear on what you guys still need to work on, what you have accomplished this year, and so on and so forth. So this is the perfect time to do that. So anywho, first card that we have for our theme for this particular month, it is the star card. That's Aquarius energy. Wow, this is challenged by the Ace of Wands. Hello. And our past influence, well, I mean, that's everything I just said, is the Sun card. That's Leo energy. This is funny. Okay, so here's the deal. So when we're looking at our theme, oh my gosh, and then that's so dope because I'm thinking about Aquarius energy. Both Saturn and Jupiter are going into Aquarius this month, which is a super dope thing. That's towards the middle and the end of the month. And I like to look at that because I know a message I got in October. So those of you who watched the soul sessions in October, a message that I got in October was that a lot of people were going to be getting almost like parting gifts, if you will, around the 16th of December. So before Christmas, it's like an early Christmas gift. And it's more or less like, I like to look at it vibrationally as like a pat on the back gift. You know what I'm saying? So if we look at this Aquarius card, the star card, and if we look, and wow, dude, this is just about to get really good. If we look at this in accordance with, and I really feel like that's what the star card is speaking to, because of course, those of you, you know, the star card is like, you know, hope and, you know, dreams come true and, you know, recognition, all that good stuff, right? Hope restored and whatnot. So I feel like this is really speaking to the whole collective in reference to that week of the 16th this month, where, and looking at that with Jupiter and with Saturn, it's more or less like hard work paying off. So it's almost like getting your bounty or your gift or your harvest, if you will, for all of the hard work that you guys have put in. And with the Ace of Wands being in you guys' challenge, this is more or less speaking to a new beginning in a sense, not necessarily saying like, I mean, this gift thing is yours, period. But this is more or less a new beginning that we're talking about that's in alignment with this truth that was revealed with the Sun card. So just like I said in the beginning with my little intuitive message, I'm being so repetitive, y'all don't judge me. Anyway, but like I said in the beginning with my little intuitive message about the 30th of November, which was, you know, the full moon in Gemini and the eclipse and all of that stuff, it's more or less a truth was revealed to you. So this Ace of Wands is more or less speaking to the Sun card. So this is like the torch being lit for this new beginning. So this more or less is saying to me that you guys are moving forward in a balanced position, and it's something that the universe is in support of. So I like to see it as almost as if you think about an onion and all the layers, it's almost like all of these layers were peeled off. And even if it was for a split second, it became very clear to you what you want and what it is you guys want to go towards. You know what I'm saying? So I would say this is like the first step in the right direction for 2021, because I feel like this point, with us being in December, right? The entire year, and I mean, I don't think anybody's upset about that because 2020, this entire year is gone at this point, right? So vindicating anything that has transpired this year or what have you, all of that lies in what it is that we do now moving forward. With us being given a clean slate with the new year, I think it's best to use the remaining part of this year, the whole month of December, and pretty much setting yourself up to, I don't know how that saying goes. I hear it in my head, but I can't get it out of my mouth. I don't know. It's something about like, whatever. Get yourself set up to, hit the ground running. There you go. To hit the ground running come January. The underlying energy that we have, wow, it's the Lovers in the reverse. That's Gemini energy. And then we have the Nine of Cups in the reverse. So what this is saying to me here, peoples, there's a stark contrast in the month of December, like coming into the month of December, and whenever you guys watch this, from what's actually happening and what you guys perceive to be happening. So what it's looking like to me is, with this Lovers in the reverse, it's more or less feeling at the will of your experience, or feeling as if you want to choose to go in a certain direction, but it's like feeling like you're blocked somehow. Like there's something standing between you and what you want. However, the thing that is standing between you and what it is that you really want it would seem to the perceiver that it's a real block, but what I'm seeing is that it's not. It's legit not. Let me think of a good example of how to explain this. It's like if a person says that, you know, the solution to all my problems and my heart's desire is to go back to college, you know, but I can't go back to college because, you know, I'm a mom or a dad and I have to do this and I have to do that and da 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 da, right? Now, the thing is that that's not really stopping you from going to college. Now, mind you, this is a hypothetical situation, and I'm not saying this because everybody's situation is different, but it's a hypothetical. So it's not saying that I'm really talking about somebody who's saying that, but just follow the example. But anywho, it's like if a person is saying, you know, I want to go back to college, but, you know, I'm a parent, so I can't, you know what I mean? What this vibration I'm seeing is speaking to is like a false sense of responsibility. So it's someone who is feeling like you can't go to school because you're a parent, not because the situation or circumstance literally prevents you, like meaning that it's so much stuff that you're doing that you literally can't go. It's really rooted in like this core belief that you can't be a parent and go to school. But the person who would be in this situation doesn't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? But with us speaking to the collective, what I'm really saying is here, the two things that are in direct contrast with each other is what spirit is clearly lighting the way for the collective to see about their life, right? And showing you what the block is that's coming in between. It's more or less in your present place in your life right now. You're not happy with where you are or what it is that you're doing, but you're electing to choose to stay in said situation because of should, oughts, and supposed to. So it's this thought, like my example of like, I can't be in school because I'm a parent, but you literally can be in school while you're a parent. It's just a false belief that's telling you that you can't. So that's what I mean, where it's like a perceptive kind of thing. It's not actually happening. It's not actually a problem. But I understand because, like I said, being in a situation such as that, you're not aware that it's a false belief. You know what I'm saying? So it's more or less what we're talking about here, why I feel this whole element of self-reflection and stuff comes in, and why I feel this gift is coming in for people who have done lots of hard work up to this point is how you're not able to see it. Whatever this is that comes in for you guys this month is going to allow you to see that. You know what I'm saying? It's an opportunity that comes in that for a split second, it gives you a different perception of your life and how things work out. And in the midst of that, it's going to allow you to see clear of what it is that is really possible for you. You know what I'm saying? I hope that that makes sense because I feel like I'm saying a bunch of words, y'all. But it's something that's going to open up, that's going to help you to see clearly what's actually possible for you. So it's almost like having the blinders taken off, if you will, because I really feel that the people that I'm speaking to, these are people who have consistently betrayed themselves in a sense by constantly choosing in the polar opposite direction of what it is that you actually really want. But the whole reason why you've been doing that, because it's this belief that you can't really have what you want, if that's making sense. Wow. And then going forward, we have the Magician. This is a whole lot of major arcanas here. That's 4 of them. 4 being the number that we have for this year, by the way. A foundational number. We have the Magician going forward, and that's Aries energy. So that's the thing, dude. It's like, this is pretty much saying that all the power lies in your hands. You have all of the resources available to you to manifest your destiny, to manifest the future that you see for yourselves or that you desire for yourselves, you know? So all of this is saying that spirit is in support, clearing away, lighting a path for you guys, lighting the torch for you to go in the direction of what it is that you want. However, it's a mental thing. And what I'm hearing now, what's very specific about this 9 of Cups in the reverse and our above energy here, this is a false belief that's directly related to this thought that your dreams can't come true, or that you don't deserve to be happy, or nothing ever works out for you, or you get really, really close to stuff and it still doesn't work out. So it's almost, in a sense, I don't want to necessarily say that you're going to be proven wrong because that would completely, you know, undermine the lesson here. It's just something really good is going to come in that I think is going to put you guys in so much of like a state of like bliss and elation. And this is why I'm saying this, because when things like this happen in our lives, it's temporary, right? Everything's temporary. So it's like when we get really good vibes about something, it's like you're in this euphoric state and you're like, oh my gosh, I can accomplish anything. How did I ever doubt myself? How did I ever think this was not going to work out type of deal, right? When you're in that euphoric state, you feel anything is possible. However, I feel this is coming out because the purpose of this is you guys being in the euphoric state instantaneously pulls you out of like a negative situation. So it's negative thoughts that are influenced by, you know, stuff that you're feeling and not being happy, whatever. But what comes up in that euphoric state, it's imperative to capture that, remember that, and ground that by making a plan to actually make that possible. Because it feels like this is like coming into this month, and it could be feeling this way the whole year, honestly, of this defeatist type of attitude. And it's kind of taking things sitting down and thinking, this is just the way that it is. This is just the way that it has to be. But whatever this is that's coming in for you guys in the middle of December is going to challenge that, you know, to allow you to feel high vibrational feelings again. You know what I'm saying? For some of you, it might just be like, you know, the Christmas spirit or something, you know, but it's something that's coming in for the sole purpose of giving you a new idea and mindset about something. So it's like the tangible manifestation of maybe a thought or a revelation that you had in November, which I'm 100% sure happened in that last week around the Gemini full moon and the eclipse and stuff. Because with this lovers in the reverse that we have is the underlying energy. It's like seeing the sun and the lovers in the reverse, the light is shining on this in so many words. And the whole truth of the matter is you guys have been choosing an opposition to what it is that you truly desire. Hence the reason why you guys are feeling unfulfilled and unhappy. You know what I'm saying? But it's like spirit is coming in to clear the path to say, hey, this is what you really want. This is an opportunity for you guys to go in a direction of it. So these two energies are in direct opposition to each other. Oh, wow. There we go. And at the bottom of your deck, we have the death card in the reverse, which is Scorpio energy. So it's refusing to let go of something. So here's the deal. For the whole collective, it's one or two things. It's either a mindset or it's a situation, circumstance, or a person that's in your life, right? Now, the situation, circumstance, person, or mindset is what the light was shined on in November, right? It's the root of why it is that you guys are unhappy. But this is literally, if we were to talk about this crossroads that we were talking about in October, this is an opportunity of showing you what these two paths are. Everyone has been in a path of self-limitation, of conditioning, right? And that is the root of the unhappiness. The whole reason why things have not worked out, or the reason why you've gone in the direction of stuff and it feels like the rug is pulled from under you, why things keep getting taken away, or, you know, whatever it is that you feel the consistent theme, rhythm, and story of your life is, that's not a very positive one. The whole root of this is because you're choosing in opposition to yourself. In November, Spirit reminded you of your truth, who you are, what you want, where you want to go, what you want to do, what you truly desire, what you're truly passionate about. And now you're being given an opportunity, right? Both with something tangible coming in that's going to restore your hope in yourself or in humanity, right? With an inspiration of a direction to go into, and the reassurance that you have all of the resources in order to manifest this, right? But what it's going to require, which has been the same theme since October, you know what I'm saying? And that's like the last quarter of the year. So October, November, December, all of these months have been working in accordance with your life in order to help you chart your path forward more clearly. So it's been made very clear to you guys what it is that you're holding on to that's no longer serving you, whether it's a person, whether it's a situation, whether it's a mindset, right? And you're being reminded that, you know, this is what stuff is looking like if you choose an opposition to what is in opposition to you. what we've been holding on to is death. It's proverbially killing us. It's proverbially slowing us down. It's making us unhappy, right? It's not allowing your life to be joyful every day. But it's almost like I was saying with the 31st of October, it's the Judas in the mirror. It's the thing that you've been holding on to that is like a poison or a cancer that's eating away at you, that's pulling you farther and farther away from life and light, right? And that's the reason why it may seem sometimes one is existing in the darkness or is consistently fighting opposition. It's not because you're being punished. It's not because your life is just supposed to suck. All of those have been signs telling you that you're not in the right place. What is the right place? The right place is what it is that you truly desire. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really were where you really truly desired to be, there would be no reason to be upset. You know what I'm saying? You'd be hella happy every day. So this is just showing you a clear path on how to get to where you guys are desiring to go. Now, so we're still talking about, it just hit me. I was just like, whoa, this whole thing is about surrendering. Legit. It's like this entire spread. It's like, even though it's, you know, my surrender in December, that's not a thing. I totally made it up, but it's surrender for me. Because in my own personal life, and I'm going to go ahead and pull cards for each sign, but I'm going to muse you with a little conversation while I'm doing that. But I called December Surrender December because every year, this is my favorite time of year. It's like, this is the time of the year where I completely relinquish control, where I ask Spirit to reveal to me everything in my life that needs to go, that's not serving me anymore. And I don't care what it is. If I have to leave a job, if I have to leave people behind, you know what I'm saying? If it's a mindset that I'm stuck in, that's self-sabotatory, it's like whatever it is, I'm willing to let it go because I don't want to exist in a state where I'm not in alignment with my highest self, my highest good. It's like, I don't want to be like disharmonious within myself because that's of no service to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty much any of the junk that or residual energies that I've picked up throughout the course of the year. It's like December is always my purge month, you know? It's like I want to release everything. So looking at the spread overall, I didn't really take that into account when I was saying all of that. But looking at the spread overall, it's talking about surrendering. It's talking about letting go, you know? And with the death in the reverse being at the bottom of the spread, this is the thing that's not being surrendered. You know what I'm saying? The thing that everyone is holding on to is what's keeping you away from the happiness, the joy that you desire, in so many words, you know, of being the master of your fate, if you will. Another thing I can say about this too, which is why I'm glad that I did this first, is when you guys watch your soul sessions, it's like, take this into account. It's like, take this collective reading and the information that came out here into account, because it's very general, of course. But if you want specifics as to what it is that we're talking about, you're going to find that information in your soul sessions for your sun, moon, rise, and Venus, whatever it is you want to watch it for. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and pull cards for each sign. Aries, and we have surrender to magic. Oh, the magic of who you are. And it says, we all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and a worth that comes from just being you. Aries, I feel what this is saying for you guys is more or less, you guys discount yourself a lot, and it's not seeing, what's the word? I don't want to just say uniqueness. It feels very avant-garde. I don't want to just say uniqueness. It's just the very one-of-a-kind nature that you guys bring to the table. I would have to use my own word, like couture. The reason why I mean, I'm a fashion buff, but I love the word couture because of what it symbolizes. It's like a couture garment is one of a kind, or there's only a few of them in the world. but no garment is like the other. This is the only one. And that's how I'm seeing Aries people. It's like your authentic self is couture, which I believe all of our souls are couture souls. That's why my collective is called the Couture Soul Collective. That's neither here nor there. But the whole premise of this is that Aries, you guys are one of a kind, who you are authentically. And it's more or less pushing you guys to strip yourself of all of those layers. The thing that's holding you guys back that you want to let go of is all of these false layers or false personas, or holding yourself back for the benefit of other people. Because I feel like the secret sauce to you guys' happiness is being that. And I feel the reason why you guys have covered that up is because you're different. And you may not know anyone that's like you. And a lot of the reason why you guys have covered yourself up for so long, or have distanced yourself from your authentic self, is because it's this false perception that something is bad or wrong. So I feel all of the roadblocks or the stagnation you guys have felt in your life up to this point, or in this year, it's because of you guys being out of alignment with yourself, right? So it's, and I like to say it this way, it's like when we think about manifesting and magnetizing stuff to us, right? Things that we're calling in, if we're calling things into our life, then hypothetically, when these things show up, they're looking for Aries, right? But if Aries is showing up in the world like, I don't know, like Virgo, you know what I'm saying? It's like the things that are for you aren't going to recognize you, hypothetically speaking. So I feel what this is, it's giving you guys a thumbs up to enter 2021 as who you are. Now, how does one do that? That means that we have to go through a stripping process first. It's needing to strip every layer to get back to the truth of who it is that you guys are, right? Now, for Taurus, we have surrender to creativity. And it says, let your imagination soar. I cannot talk. Stay open to all creative ideas about how to pursue a dream or solve a problem. So here's the thing, Taurus, I feel with you guys, the thing that's been holding you guys back and the thing that you need to release is being too practical or being too logical, right? It's more or less, when you're thinking of solving issues and problems in your life, it's like thinking very black and white about stuff. And it's like approaching everything like it's either this or it's that, right? But that limits the whole gray area of potential, right? So this is more or less saying what's holding you guys back is not allowing creative thinking or creative problem solving or innovation to be an option with strategies in you guys' life, whether this is in personal development, if it's in work, if it's in your business passion projects, what have you. This is more or less giving Taurians permission, right, to get back to that childlike wonder, right? Similar to how it is with Aries, it's like the truth of who you are, which is a creative being, like your soul essence is creative. Spirituality is creative, it's fluid, right? It's limitless. And I feel that just kind of the drudgery of life has made my Taurian people limited. So it's having a limited range of what's possible. So it's kind of like a proverbial glass ceiling, if you will. So this is more or less saying for my Taurian people, the source of your unhappiness, what it is that's holding you guys back, is a lack thereof of imagination, creativity, and fluidity in your life. And it's reintroducing yourself to that vibration. And my next sign is Gemini. We have surrender to spirit. Once you've done everything you can do to achieve a goal, turn the situation over to the divine. Let spirit work its magic for you. Now, Gemini, y'all opposite sign is Sag. That's funny because this is the same vibration as Sagittarius, and that's making me wonder if the person I was talking about was Scorpio for Taurus. But this is similar to what I was saying for Sagittarius, but it's like it's manifesting for them in like more of a 3D kind of way where it's taking too much of a burden on yourself. So with this Gemini, what we're really saying is here is like I was talking about with Sag, with if you're working the program, let the program work for you. It's the same thing with spirit. It's like, it says, once you've done all it is that you can do, like when you've done everything you can possibly do for something to happen, you have to release it. And I feel like that's the, in the process of life in general, it's like in that space is when you allow spirit to come through in your situation, right? It's like, whenever we're trying to meddle with that, it's like we kind of snuff spirit out of a situation and we prevent spirit from coming through. And I say this to people all the time, like, depending on what your belief system is, whether you believe in angels or ancestors, spirit, whatever the case may be, it's like we have free will. So we have to give permission for, whatever it is that you believe in on the other side to come through on our behalf, right? So if you're never asking, right, because you're doing all of this work, right? And then in this space, when spirit can come through for you, or ancestors or angels or what have you, it's still stepping into that space, right? And you're trying to meddle with stuff and still make things happen. But it's a certain point of surrender, which requires faith, hope, and trust, right? Looking at the star card here, it's a certain aspect in our manifestation where we just have to have faith to the other side. But I feel like with you guys, and it could be manifesting as stress, but I really feel it in the sense of you guys being completely tuckered out because it's trying to be everything. You know what I mean? It's like losing faith that spirit will come through for you. So it's going through life with this mentality like, if I don't do it, it's not gonna get done. And that's way too much of a burden to carry. And another way I could say it too, because depending on what your belief system is, even if you don't want to look at it as, the ethereal realm being like a divine entity that intercedes on your behalf, if you wanted to just look at it as laws of the universe, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what the whole purpose of religion or belief systems are, is that it explains how things work. So if we think about, the law of cause and effect, right? It's like every effect started with, a cause. So if you make a choice, there's always going to be consequences for that choice. So what you sow, you're going to reap. And it's like you sow, but you're staring at the ground like, oh my gosh, is the seed gonna grow? Is a tree gonna come out of there? I don't know. And it's like you're watering it, you're making sure it has the right amount of sunlight, you're making sure it has fertilizer, but you're sitting there staring at the ground like, oh my gosh, is it going to grow? You know what I'm saying? And that's one of those areas where you would like do everything you're supposed to do. You plant the seed, you water it, you give it sunlight, you fertilize it, whatever, get rid of the bugs and things. And you walk away and you trust the laws of the universe that when a seed has water and, a nice stable environment, that it's going to grow. You know what I mean? So it's stressing yourself out about something. And it's very similar to what I was saying with Sag, and that's you guys' opposite sign. It's like it's stressing about something that's already working itself out. But it's like, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like you can't dig up the seed out the ground and be like, are you okay? Are you growing? So it's stressing about unnecessary stuff. And those interim times are the times that you rely on your belief system, you rely on the laws of the universe. That stuff follows a process and you're going to get the result for what it is that you've put in, if that's making sense. I hope that makes sense. So next we have Cancer, and it says surrender your addictions. Whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. Cancer, what I feel with this for you guys is it's whatever it is that you guys are addicted to, like all these things that they say, whether it's substances, people, what have you, relationships, whatever, Netflix, it don't matter. This is a crutch, right? It's a crutch that is hiding a void that exists in your life. Whatever it is that you consistently do to make you feel better, or what you use to avoid stuff that you're feeling. I think that's probably why that word is avoid, like trying to sidestep the void. You know what I mean? I feel the thing that's holding you guys back greatly from progressing forward is what it is you're trying to cover up with the addictions, or what it is that you're trying to sidestep or ignore, like you're using it as a supplement. It's like that void is something that needs to be faced. And I feel that whatever that void is, it possesses a great deal of information for you. I think what, like, pretty much like the whole toolkit that you guys need to get to where it is that you want to go exists in confronting this void, right? Because whatever you're using to cover it up or avoid it is only temporary. It's not fixing the problem. And if anything, things are crumbling in the background, if that's making sense, because of this, right? So I feel that it's imperative for you guys, if you want to, be happy, if you want to move forward in your life, it's turning around and facing whatever this is you're trying to avoid or cover up with addictions, right? And stepping back to Gemini, it's the same thing with you guys. It's like the thing that's holding you guys back is the lack thereof of a belief system. Like you don't have one, you know what I'm saying? Like, because your belief system is supposed to step in times of like, confusion or trouble to help things make sense. It's more or less, if you guys want to experience happiness and you want to move forward, it's more or less clarifying your belief system, or, getting one if you don't have one. And next we have Leo. Leo, we have surrender obsessive thinking. And it says, if you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. So my wonderful Leo people, it's more or less obsessive thinking isn't going to fix anything. And this is very similar to what I was saying with Gemini, as well as with Sagittarius as well. That's not going to change a thing, thinking about it. It's like you have to come to a place to where you can do all it is that you can possibly do. So that's interesting. It's like Leo's solution lies in what I said to Gemini and what I said to Sag. That's interesting. But it's more or less, it's like all you can do in a situation, right, is, or if we looked at it this way, we have no control over when something happens in our life. We only have control over what we do leading up to this thing happening and what we do after this thing happens. But when it happens, or, how it happens, like we don't have control over that, right? So I feel with my Leo people, you guys are overstressing yourself and overthinking things because you're stressing about stuff that's outside of your realm of control. And it's worrying like, what if? And it's more or less needing to ground yourself. So I feel obsessively thinking about stuff that you can't control, or that you don't know if it's going to happen, but it might. It's really like anxious thinking in so many words. That's what's holding you guys back and preventing you from being happy. Because I feel even when good things come into your life, it's like you're still like, oh, this is really great that I got this money, but it's like, oh my gosh, what if I spend it all? Or what if I do? You know what I'm saying? So it's like it robs you of happiness, right? But you don't have control. And I even say the same thing if it comes to relationships too. Like if you're worried that your partner is like cheating on you or something like that, it's like none of that stuff is going to change a situation. The only thing that's going to change something or clear our minds is if we can actually take a step to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Or to gain clarity. But if it's not possible to do that, you have to surrender stuff like that to spirit, because it's not serving you. It's hurting you more than it's helping. So I feel it's like two things. Some of you guys, it's obsessing about stuff and not doing anything. And other group of you are obsessively thinking about things that are outside of your realm of control. So in order for you guys to move forward and to have more happiness in your life, that's what you want to start working on releasing. And of course, it's not an easy thing where you're just like, bam, I'm gonna stop obsessive thinking. It's a skill set that you learn to reverse that. So it's more or less being more cognizant of your thoughts, thought hygiene and whatnot. Virgo. Surrender fear. Let go of the fearful stories you are telling yourself. I'm going to stop this accent. I'm so butchering this. Stay in the moment. Focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. What I want to tell you, Virgo, whenever you find yourself afraid, and fear is, you know, anything with anything, it doesn't matter what. Ask yourself, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Because that's something that helps me. Like whenever I find myself getting nervous about something and I'm like, okay, I'm totally nervous right now because I'm afraid, I always ask myself, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And I'm like, I would do this, like I would slay this, you know what I'm saying? So take that into account, Virgos. So Libra, surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. Whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. That's interesting. Libra, I would say this death in the reverse really resonates with you all, especially if you're a Libra, Scorpio, cusper. It's holding on to things that no longer serve you and maybe broken and dead because you're afraid of different. And that's really not helping you, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Scorpio. Wow. Surrender the drama. Is that a katana? No matter how emotionally charged the situation, remain calm and don't contribute to the drama. Staying centered will help solve the issue more clearly. Scorpio, I see this as a tornado. Whenever drama come around y'all, you legit get sucked into it and you become the situations that you're in. So this is really talking about you guys dropping an anchor and how do I want to say this? Because I'm seeing something. It's almost like a chameleon, I guess you would say, but it's like, it's not chameleon in personality with Scorpio. It's a chameleon where you literally become what you're around. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you guys aren't aware of it. So the root of why it is that your life is so chaotic or why you're so confused, it's almost like being an empath and being oblivious to the fact that you're an empath. So if you're around someone that's depressed, you become depressed and you internalize it. You're like, I'm just depressed now. Then you go around someone who's confused and it's like, oh, I'm confused now because I'm confused. And it's like, oh, you go around someone who's a party animal. I'm a party animal, right? And then it's like, oh, you know, now it's like, I'm a homebody. And so it's almost like you guys are absorbing whatever it is that you're around, but it's more or less that y'all aren't aware that you have this gift, because it's like shape shifting. That's really what it is. It's like being a shapeshifter and not being aware that you're a shapeshifter, so you don't have control over it, so you're at the will of it. So it's like, it's not being clear on who it is that you are. So the whole thing is that I'm saying, Scorpio, is like, I feel like Scorpio people, you guys are gonna have to like strip yourselves down, because I'm just seeing all kinds of stuff. It's like I'm seeing like a wall with buku layers of paint on it. It's like you have to strip yourself down to get clear on who it is that you really are, despite everybody in your life. It's like, who are you really at the root of everything? It's like, what are you into? What are you really like aside from people that you're with? It's like you guys have a spiritual gift for shape shifting, but not being aware of it puts you at the will of it. That's why you're so unhappy, because you're identifying with everybody else's problems, not realizing that they aren't yours. So I feel like with you guys, it's like a tornado of you getting sucked into other people's drama, and you have to find your balance. And another thing is, I don't know why all this stuff coming up, but it's like with the Scorpio collective, the way that you guys always cope with this is by just disappearing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you'll isolate yourself from people as a solution to the problem, but it's really not helping anything because you're not changing this behavior. So it's like distancing yourself from people isn't going to help. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go around people again, the same thing's going to happen. So I'm just going to leave that there. Who's after Scorpio? Sagittarius. That's so sad. Happy birthday, Sag. Surrender stress. And it says, take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to your center. Interesting. Sag, okay. Okay, this is interesting. I don't know how this became all intuitive messages all of a sudden. I just was supposed to read the oracle cards. But Sag, what this feels like for me, dude, it's like it's being in a constant state of angst. You know what I'm saying? Where it's always being concerned and worried about the next step and what you're doing. But it's almost like, what I want to say for Sag people is like you're working the program, right? Hypothetically speaking, it's like you're working the program. Allow the program to work for you, you know? Because I feel like you guys aren't allowing the program to work for you. You know, it's almost like having a step-by-step plan on how to execute something, but it's like you're using a method that's like how can I say it? It's like a scientific, you know, proven to work type of strategy thing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's data behind it. So if you work the program, it's gonna work for you, but it's like you're working the program and then you're worried about the program while you're working it, if that makes sense. It's almost like you guys are unnecessarily stressing about stuff that's already taken care of. But it's like, I feel the premise behind this or why it is that this is happening is more or less because, I don't know, it's almost like a force of habit. Like if you had trouble with money before, right? And you're used to not having money and like stressing about bills, it's like now you make way more money than you've ever made before to where you don't have to worry about money. But because you're so used to worrying about money, you're worrying about money that you don't need to worry about because you have enough money. I hope that makes sense. But that's really the vibe that I'm feeling for you guys. So more or less, what my Sagittarius people are really talking about letting go is stressing about things that aren't even worth your time. Because when we talk about this in a health sense, it's not healthy because, you know, you get high levels of cortisol in your body and stress can literally kill you. So for some of you guys, it's letting go of situations that do stress you. Others of you is learning a skill set on how to manage your stress. And others of you is more or less updating where it is that you truly are at present, right? Now, oh, who's after Sag? I think it's Capricorn. Dagnabbit. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I was right. Look at me. Okay, Capricorn. Surrender the idea that you can fix someone. It's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. We're talking about a little bit of codependency here in reference to romantic relationships or family connections. And this is actually a conversation I had with my assistant one night. I was telling her that a lot of us who, because she's studying to be, you know, a psychiatrist. Well, she finished medical school already, you know, she in her residency and things. But anyway, it's like when you're in a mental health profession, we all go through the same process. And then there's some people, when you go to therapy, you become spiritual or, you know, religious, whatever. I call it the zealot stage. And it's a stage in everyone's development, right? With anything new that you're doing. It's the same thing with sobriety. We're going to talk about that when we get back to Cancer, right? But it's like the same thing with sobriety. When a person first gets sober, they're in a zealot stage. So it's like now they want everybody they know to be sober. Or when somebody, you know, becomes a Christian, they want everybody to be a Christian. Or somebody becomes spiritual, it's like they want everybody to be woke. And when people like will resist what it is that you've come into that you feel has changed your life, the downside of the zealot stage is sometimes people start becoming judgmental, calling people low vibrational and, you know, demons and things of the sort, right? But I feel my Capricorn people are in that zealot stage, but it's this thought of, I'm trying to help you. So it's like I was saying, like when people will go to therapy or you work in mental health in the very beginning, I can't even say it, I don't think it lasts up until you actually work in mental health, maybe when you like grad school clinicals, you know, type of deal, or you just started going to therapy. It's like suddenly, because you have a new perspective on life, you can start to see issues and problems in other people, or you can, I don't want to say diagnose because you don't need to be diagnosing nobody, but you can identify them, right? So the thought is, oh, they don't know, let me try to help them. Or even people who have the spiritual gift of mercy have a tendency to like date people who you're trying to help. Like it's almost kind of like people like you feel sorry for or you pity or something like that. But the whole thing is that that's what's holding my Capricorn people back. It's this thought of you trying to fix everyone. And how I'm seeing it is like a bunch of buckets that you're trying to fill. And you're trying to fill your own bucket, and you can only fill each bucket one drop at a time. But it's like you're spreading yourself thin, trying to fill all these other buckets, trying to help all these other people in the process of trying to fix yourself. And it's like personal work is personal work for a reason, because it's the individual. And it's like the thought people usually have is like, oh, so I'm just not supposed to help people. No, it's not that. It's just that if people want help, they will come ask you. You want to be mindful of that. And you need to know, like, if a person wants help, guidance, or insight from you, you can answer questions if people ask, but you don't want to dedicate your entire life of trying to fix people. Because even as a therapist, I don't even see my work as fixing people, because people aren't, broken to be fixed. So it's more or less, it's a lot of your energy is being siphoned out, and what's holding you back from moving forward in your life is that you're putting so much energy into trying to fix other people and put out other people's fires. And I feel going forward, it's time for you guys to focus on yourself, because you owe that to yourself. Aquarius, surrender comparisons with other people. Keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. That's very similar to this energy I was talking about with Capricorn Aquarius. That's something that can hold you back. Everybody is different, and you can't compare yourself to other people. What led a person here, what a person has been through, what a person has experienced, how much work a person has put in. Because sometimes we can look at other people as if they're lucky, or as if, oh, they just got blessed with something, or they just got lucky. Like, even if you look at people who are quote unquote overnight successes, there's no such thing. And going back to that Saturn energy that I was talking about, which is going into Aquarius, by the way, Aquarius, is the only thing that makes people successful is hard work and effort. Like, people talk about, the Kardashians and things, and like, oh, they're famous for nothing. But I mean, you could say that, but I mean, at the same time, it's hard work and effort that got them to where they are. Whether you look at their dad, who put in a whole bunch of hard work and effort as an attorney, and it's like his hard work and effort aligned him into a situation with OJ. There's a whole ordeal right there. But that's why people knew him, was because of the OJ trial, and everyone, and then he passed away and stuff like that. So it's like, people knew his daughters because of who he was. So his hard work and effort got him notoriety, right? His daughters piggybacked on that. And then they put in hard work and effort with all the businesses that they own. So people could say that they're famous for nothing, but not really. It's like there's always going to be hard work and effort. No one is a true overnight success. There's no such thing. I feel like opportunities like that, or situations like that where people get thrust into the spotlight, it's when, hard work and an opportunity meet. So I feel it's an unfair advantage of putting yourself at Aquarius, because you don't know whoever it is you guys would be comparing yourself to. It's like you don't know the whole story about what it really took to get that person there. And I feel that there's a need to understand that. And then on the other side of it, because I feel this on the other side of the coin, is if there's people who are trying to project to you that their lives are so happy, you don't follow them home. So it's like what it is that they show you is just surface level, especially if we're talking about social media and reality TV and things. It's like even on YouTube, dude, like with the little vlogs and all of that, it's like people are not showing you the whole picture of their life. They're just showing you the good, exciting, entertaining part. So I feel like you guys are, or what's holding you back in so many words that you would want to release is unfair comparisons. You know, I'm thinking about the Osho Zen Tarot. They have a card in there that talks about comparisons, and they were talking about like an oak tree comparing itself to a bamboo tree. It's like, that's an unfair advantage because y'all ain't nothing alike. Granted, y'all both trees, but it's like y'all are two totally different types of trees. Like, to compare yourself to that is an unfair thing because no matter what you do, you can't change it or fix it. So I feel the most important thing is for you guys to focus on what you're doing and what your goals are, and to stop looking sideways at what other people are doing and wondering why it's working for them this way and it's not working for you, and why are they here and you're not there yet, and all this other kind of stuff, because that's really what's holding you back and preventing you from getting to where it is that you want to go quicker. And it's similar to Capricorn in the sense of Capricorn spreading their energy thin with other people, but I feel like it's you guys' attention being too trained on other people that's holding you back. And then we have Pisces, surrender defensiveness. Defensiveness is a sign of weakness. To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered and hear someone out, then offer a clear, non-defensive response. Let me tell you something about this, Pisces. Tell you a little story about myself. Defensiveness would be what's holding you back because it's preventing you from learning valuable lessons. Many years ago, and I tell this story a lot, when I worked for the state, I ended up having this huge epiphany where I was, going into the break room, and my boss stopped me and she said, Princess, when you're done getting your coffee in here, can you come into my office? And I was like, sure. And then I'm like, all like under my breath, like, what she want me coming to her office for? And it's like, I bet she gonna tell me this. And I'm like prepping myself of how it is that I'm gonna defend myself because she gonna be trying to accuse me of something. And I'm saying all of that halfway to her office, and I stopped myself. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I'm being hella defensive right now. And I was like, dude, I do this all the time. And I was like, every job I've ever been on, every single time like a boss asks me to come into the office, my instant thought is always that they're going to attempt to nitpick with me or say that I did something wrong or like accuse me of something that I didn't do. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, why do I do that? And I literally sat there for a second. I was like, why do I always think that? You know what I'm saying? Like, this lady didn't give me any reason to think that. And lo and behold, I go into the office and she was wanting to, I think it was like an employee evaluation or something like that. And she was complimenting me on the review that I got from my evaluation. And I felt even more dumb. And it's like, I literally was meditating on that for the rest of the day, where I was like, dude, why do I do that? Why do every single time an authority figure asks me something, why do I always jump to defense? And as I went through the day and I was just thinking about it, I finally got to the root of it. It was the fact that my perfectionism, I had an issue with being wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because I looked at a mistake that I made or doing something wrong as a reflection of like, I don't know what I'm doing. And now this person is shining light on, I don't know what I'm doing. Now, mind you, Pisces, for you guys, it could be something totally different, but that's what's at the root of defensiveness. It's the assumption or the projection that you think you're under attack and you need to defend. But the thing is, you have to be clear of what situation you're in, who you're talking to, and who the person is. Because my boss, she was such a sweet lady. Like this lady never did nothing to me. Like, she looked out for me so much. And it's like, for me to think that of her, it wasn't realistic because she never did anything for me to defend. It's just that I was walking around with a freaking chip on my shoulder. And it was more or less like how they say this is a sign of weakness. it was showing a wound that was in me that I wasn't even aware of, because it's like, I don't want to be wrong because I feel like you're making me look a certain type of way. So I feel the same thing for you guys. It's like, don't jump to conclusions. I feel like this defensiveness is what it is that's holding you guys back, because it prevents you from being able to see the fullness of a situation, or to see clarity in a situation, if you will, or the truth of a situation, really, to be quite honest, because you're so busy trying to defend yourself against a threat that isn't really there. And it puts you in a position to where you can miss a lot of great, opportunities and lessons, or even sometimes connections with other people. That's been you guys' collective reading. I hope it helped. Use this general message as a framework for all of the soul sessions this month. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole theme of this, just as a quick little synopsis, the whole theme of this is we're talking about what it is that needs to be released, that's been holding you guys back from getting to where it is that you desire to go, and has been the root of the unhappiness in your life. And with each of your oracle cards, keep that in mind as you watch your soul sessions this month. I hope this helped, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. I love your face, and I'll see you sooner than later in your soul session, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Love your face.